I was really very happy to learn that Sussex University Sahaj Yoga Center has been very kind to invite me to speak to them. It's such a pleasure to talk to the students because they are the ones who have been always in any country been responsible for any new step, whether it was political, economic or social, which was to be taken boldly. Students are the people who have their idealism intact still. And when they are studying, they don't get biased easily. They keep their minds open to every knowledge because they are new to it. But those who become experts can become very biased, very conditioned by what they read or what they think to be right. But the students can be also very much vulnerable because they do not know whether whatever new comes to them is the truth or some sort of a falsehood. So, at this life, when you are a student, you have to be very careful to understand that if you have to seek the truth, you have to be alert about it. First and foremost thing, as students, we enter into a university. It's a beautiful name, university, meaning that you get all the knowledge of the universe here. And when you enter into the university, you come with an open mind, with an understanding that whatever you have to learn in a way as if you are a student and you are not the teacher. And that humility always helps the students to learn anything that they want to know about any part of their knowledge. Now, what you learn in the university is the knowledge of the tree, knowledge that you can perceive and understand through your mental activity. But what I am going to tell you about today is the knowledge of the roots of the tree, from where the whole knowledge comes in. Now, to believe in me or to understand me, it is not necessary for you to have any sort of a faith in me or a surrendering position, but you must also know that if I have to tell you something new, you must keep your mind open to understand what I have to tell you. When we study, say, economics, take a subject which is very common these days and it is even regarded as a higher science than philosophy. What do we learn? The essence of economics is very simple. That wants, in particular, are satiable, but in general, wants are not satiable. This is the essence of Sahaj Yoga. Like, whatever you want to have, you can have today, and tomorrow you will run after another thing. That's why we have economics, because this is the tendency of human mind. But why it is so? Why is it? We really strive, supposing you are doing your graduation, you will strive your heart to be a graduate, but you won't be satisfied. You'd like to do higher studies, or you may like to take up a job, and even if you get a job, you will not be satisfied. Then you want to build a house, then you want to have a car, then you want to have, students want to have a nice bike, all right. When they have it, they want to have something else. You say, a helicopter maybe, I don't know what, but it goes on increasing. You're never happy with what you have, fully satisfied. Now the reason for that, you can find it in Sahaj. Because the roots are deeper down, which we do not know. It's all right to build up the whole science of economics on something. But what about the roots that have created this big tree of economics? The roots are that none of these material things are going to give us full satisfaction. This is the root of it. So what is going to give us that satisfaction? We come to the second logical question. What is the need of a human being to feel satisfied? There is something higher, something deeper, something that we have missed. This is definite. Now what is that? We can refer, if you are not so much upset or angry, or we can say biased about the scriptures, any scripture. I'm not saying Bible or say Torah or say Indian scriptures or Buddha sayings or Tao or anything. You will find one common thing they have said. All of them have said one thing common, and that is that you are to be born again. You have to know your spirit. You have to become the spirit. Because that lacking in us, in our awareness, because we are not yet the spirit, whatever we know without it is only the mental projection, which is limited as our mind is limited. So to know the unlimited or to know the roots, you have to become the spirit. This is the first condition they have given. Now if you just don't deny them, we should look into it that we have to become the spirit. Now what is that? What is that within us which is the spirit? If there is something like spirit within us, we have not yet felt it. We have never felt the spirit within us. And what is that spirit? And what does it do? What are its qualities? We should try to find out. And that's what you can find out when you become the spirit. It's a vicious circle. It's the other way down. Here, nobody will say that you must become a graduate to know about economics. But in the other way around thing, you have to go deep down into the roots. And how do you do that? Supposing I say you pay attention to yourself. A teacher will say, pay attention. So all the students will start looking at him, looking at the blackboard. But I say, pay attention to yourself. Then you will say, Mother, how do you do it? It's an impossible thing. How do we take our attention inside? It's all the time outside moving. How are we to take it inside? That's why you have to get your realization first. You have to become the spirit by which you can take your attention inside to your roots. That's why the first condition in the Sahaja Yoga system is that we have to become the spirit. Before that, whatever I say, you will say, how is it true? You can always challenge. You can always say it may not be true, it may be wrong, it may be false. It's true. Because supposing I have no eyes and you start telling me about the colors, how will I know? So anybody would say that open your eyes first of all. Unless and until you open your eyes, you won't be able to understand what I'm talking about. In the same way, we have to understand that if we have to know about the roots, we have to penetrate within. For that, we have to become subtler than what we are. We are at a level from which we cannot enter inside ourselves. So we have to become something else, and that becoming is only possible if you become the spirit. I hope I am clear on that point. Now, how to become the spirit is the problem. Because whenever a teacher tells you do this, you said how? That's correct. I mean, logically, that's what should be the question. How do we become the spirit? Now, if I say that this is our evolutionary process, we have evolved as human beings, come up to this stage, and if something more has to happen, it has to happen the same way as evolution has taken place, automatically. What did we do to become human beings from monkeys, if we have become from monkeys? I don't think anybody remembers anything they have done to become human beings, or they have put in any effort to be that. We have done nothing. We just become human beings spontaneously, or we can say automatically, But actually this spontaneity relates to a living process. Only living things are spontaneous. Like you want to sprout a seed, you have to just put it in the Mother Earth. Spontaneously, it sprouts. We don't do anything to it. We don't stand on our heads, we don't read any book, we don't say anything to the seed, but it sprouts because it is built in within the seed. The quality to become the tree. In the same way, it is built in within you to become the spirit. As you have become a human being, you have to become the spirit. That's the evolutionary, natural process to which you have to take it. Now, if you get just satisfied with whatever state you are in as a human being, you can live, not impossible. I mean, you can while away your time, you can carry on. But still, you will not be a satisfied person. You will not be a blissful person. You will not be a person who can be called as a person who has become an absolute personality. Still you will be living in the relative world because of this mental activity which is going on, which will confuse you completely all the time. You would not know whether this is good or that is good. Like these days in England we have a big confusion whether to vote Labour or Conservative or this. We don't know which one to vote. So we'll close our eyes, all right, whichever I catch I will vote. We don't know what to do. This stage will go away because we haven't reached that state of absoluteness where we can decide things with absolute authority. This is the thing. This is the right thing. Once we understand this state that lies within us, then what do? We know what is right and what is wrong. And right can be only one thing. There cannot be any difference of opinion as to what is right and what is wrong if you do it with your absolute awareness. But human awareness is not absolute. If it was so, there would have been no problem. There would not have been any necessity to have this MX authorized or have this atom bomb produced there. And all human beings are the only animals that are doing like this, you see. You don't find any dogs creating any atom bombs or anything to kill each other. But this is special human failure to show that we are not at an absolute point where we all agree. So how to achieve that is the second point. Again I said it is spontaneous, it's a living process and you don't have to worry about it. It's all built in within yourself. I don't know if they have put any. They haven't put any. Now, so how many of you have come for the first time for Sahaj Yoga meeting? How many of you have come for the first time? Let's see. 1, 2, 3, and 5. All right. The rest of you have been to Sahaj Yoga meeting. So you know about Kundalini, you know the awakening of the Kundalini and all those things. Now we have within ourselves, you see, this power by which it is going to happen to us. This is the power of pure desire within us. Because so far as we have seen, all our desires that we have cannot satisfy us. So there must be some desire within us which leads us to completion or to the fulfillment of our ultimate desire to be the spirit. And this power lies in the triangular bone, in the lower part, the lowest part of your medulla oblongata, or you can say the spinal cord. Now this lies there or not, whether it exists or not, whether I am telling you is correct or not, is to be found out. You should not just challenge it. You should see for yourself that sometimes in some people, there are many who have seen it here, you can see the pulsation of this power if there is an obstruction in this person and the awakened Kundalini cannot rise. You can see with your naked eyes. absolutely with naked eyes a pulsation just like a heartbeat. In some people it is so vigorous that you are amazed that this bone behaves, this triangular bone behaves like a heart beating. Surprisingly, this bone is called a sacrum. And sacrum in the Greek language means sacred. Of course, for all our knowledge, sacred word is only in the dictionary. We don't know what is sacredness is, what divinity is, what auspiciousness is. Thank God there are words, but we don't know what it is supposed to be. Now this they call as a sacred bone, and I was amazed. And I asked them, I said, why did you call this as a sacred bone when I went to Greece? And I was even more amazed to find out that they knew a lot about this knowledge. And they told me that they had a rapport with Indians, with great philosophers of India, who came down and told them all about it. And they had this practice with them. Even the knowledge of their medical science was very much based on those ideas. Even in England, when you had your medical science first, you'd be amazed. The medical science, the basis of it, was the same as Sahaja Yoga system, that they had 3 types of human beings and they are to be treated that way. But then suddenly, I don't know from where, we started curing not through the roots, but through the leaves, you see. If there is a leaf, something wrong with the leaf, you treat the leaf. And then you find some trouble somewhere in the fruit, you see. It's like that. So the medical science became like that, absolutely treating the leaves, and the roots were left behind. Now these roots are within you. They are there all the time. You are not aware of them. You are not aware of so many things within yourself. But once you become aware of them, as you get your realization, as I call it, as you get your spirit manifesting in your attention, in your central nervous system, when you start feeling the vibrations of the spirit flowing, then you can understand all about them. And whatever I am saying today here to you, you can verify it and can find out. To give you a simple example, is that when you have to go to a class of histology, you have to use a microscope. Now you say that I won't use the microscope and I would like to see the skin under the, just with my naked eyes. You cannot. What you'll see is the skin that is there. But if you have to see the deeper structure of the skin, you have to use a microscope. In the same way, if you have to see the deeper side of life, you have to use the microscope of your spirit. Without the spirit, you cannot understand what is beneath and what is above. Beneath is your beautiful being, the glorious human being that is created by God, and above is the all-pervading power of love of God Almighty. May God bless you. I would like to have questions from you. That would be better than to talk about it, because I must have given I don't know how many thousand lectures so far, and there's no end to it, because this is a vast knowledge. Even if you have 1,000 universities like that, I don't think it can be completed. But it's so simple that once you become that, I don't have to tell you much. Like this room that you have done, if I have to explain about it to someone, I can write a book on this. You see, still they won't understand anything. And they'll come here and will never recognize if this is the book I have told them about. But if you just open your eyes and come here, you see for yourself and you know for definite this is the place you have to be. That's what it is. When you become, you don't have to know all about it, you just become that. May God bless you. I would like you to ask me questions. That would be much better. What do you say, Jason? All right? Thank you.